Hi everyone, it's Peebs, and welcome back to another video. For this video, I'm doing a fun little challenge. I'm doing a style challenge. Yay! I took 9 different styles that at one point in my life inspired me, and I drew myself, or my Peebsona, Peebs, if you will, who is the little red guy you see on your screen. I drew her in those styles. This was a very fun opportunity for me to study different show styles and character sheets, and it was also a very fun trip down memory lane because some of these are huge deep cuts. Make sure to follow my social media, even though I'm terrible at posting. Sorry! But let's get started. Anyway, technically I did 10 drawings. The first one I did in my own style, which was actually one of the hardest ones for me to do. Who would have thought? I really struggled with this one because I've been drawing in my sketchbook a lot recently and I've been quite busy, so I haven't had time to draw digitally in a minute, and that's my bad. Oops, I need to practice my digital drawing skills more often. I probably should not have just rushed into it, but I kind of went into it guns a-blazing, not warming up or anything, which again is my mistake. But after I did this one, it was kind of like ripping off the band-aid because I felt I was very frustrated with this, and once I got it out of the way, I felt much better about drawing and my drawing skills, and just I kind of felt more in control of my digital drawing skills. And it was a nice, I mean, it was very frustrating, but it was a nice way for me to get back into it. But for my process for most of these drawings, I blocked out shapes with a thicker pen just to get a feel for the pose and what I wanted to do with it. Sometimes I like to think about those shapes as if they were like pieces of clay. And once it's on the canvas, you can shape it and kind of mold it to what you need it to look like, which is really nice for planning out poses and stuff like that. And I also made use of the canvas flipping a lot for this one, and normally I don't flip the canvas, which I know you're supposed to as an artist, but I just get lazy and I forget, so I never flip the canvas. But for this one I did because it just wasn't working, it wasn't looking right. And then I also went back and I redid the eyes at one point because I was like, it just doesn't feel like my style. It doesn't feel like how I would draw myself. So I went back and I changed the eyes at one point, and then I tried to change the pose, but then I was just like, you know what, whatever, just keep going. And I almost gave up so many times, but I just needed to get this one out and then I could redo it later. But I did actually end up really liking this one. I think she's cute and I love how she turned out. I forget how much I love digital art sometimes. It's so much fun to just be able to draw without worrying about mistakes, which is usually the problem I have with traditional art, but it's mainly just in my sketchbook, and I've taught myself to not worry about mistakes anyway and to just keep them in there so that I don't hate myself later down the line. But I just really enjoy this one, and I think this was a very great start to this style challenge. And again, I wish I did some more practices and warm-ups, but you know what? It's okay. Anyway, here she is. Here's Peebs in my style. I hope you like her. I think she's super cute. Here she is. The next style is Adventure Time. Adventure Time was pretty important for me in my art journey. I remember watching it with my grade school best friend in her basement, and we would talk about our favorite characters and lore for the upcoming episodes. A core memory I have is watching the episode What Was Missing and being absolutely gobsmacked by how much I loved the character interactions and the music. Also, the early days of like Bubbleen shipping and Bubbleen like truthers is so crazy. I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, they totally should date. And it turned out they did. They did date, and they currently are dating. Well, they're actually married in the show. To me, they're married. I used to copy the Adventure Time style a lot. It was very important for me in learning how to draw humans, but some of my first drawings of people were in the Adventure Time style. They were a lot more noodly, and they're very funny to look back on. For this drawing, I wanted to capture the squiggly, loose style of Adventure Time, and to accomplish this, I found some references of Finn from the early days of the show, so before it got super, super deep, and I took inspiration from those. I wanted this Peebs to have a sense of whimsy and adventure, so she's got her pencil and she is ready to rock and roll. This one is one of my favorites. I think I really succeeded with copying the style, but here she is. She's so cute. The next style I did is My Little Pony. This one, this one is a throwback. I got really into My Little Pony. I think this is generation 4, if I'm not mistaken. But I got really into My Little Pony Gen 4 when it first came out, or around that time. I remember seeing this AMV to Trouble is a Friend, and I would watch it on repeat, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? This is so cool. I drew ponies all the time, and my favorite episode was the Canterlot Wedding, because, of course, this was actually my first time drawing in the My Little Pony style, and honestly, it was so fun. The shape language is really easy to understand, and it's just a lot of circles and round shapes. But I decided to make Peebs a unicorn, because why not? I would like for her to be a Pegasus, but I feel like a unicorn works better with an artist. And I also did have a very hard time with the eyes, but I don't really care. I think the angle's weird, but I really enjoy this one. Here is Pony Peebs. This next one is Homestuck, which, oh my gosh, right in time for the Vivzy Pop Homestuck announcement. And mind you, I worked on this before the Homestuck animated show was announced, so I could feel the Homestuck revival in my bones. I knew it was coming. It's always happening. So let me just get my gray face paint on here. Okay, cool. We're ready. Homestuck was a big part of my life. I loved that bitch with all of my heart. I drew so much fan art and was inspired by the flashes and the fan AMVs, also the ships and the ship art. It was just such a fun thing to be a part of, and I wish I was more involved as opposed to being more of a silent bystander. But now that it's coming back, this is my chance. Let me work on the show, please! Please, please, please! Anyway, for this drawing, I tried to replicate the comic style for the more detailed panels, which, aka just the full body poses as opposed to the little sprites, and it honestly was challenging to navigate the lineless and shadeless style while also making sure that like the pose made sense and that you could still determine like fingers and stuff. But once I got that pose blocked down and then the colors blocked down, it was pretty easy to finish up. But I decided to draw Peebs as a troll because of her horns, and I went with the typical blood color conventions because I am a Leo, so I went with the olive blood color like Nepeta. I also wanted to draw her as a god tier because of extra, and I thought it would be really fun to draw god tier outfits, and I was right, it was super fun. So I took a quiz, and I determined that I would be a Mage of Space, which I've never drawn the Mage god tier outfit, so that was super fun. And I wonder what her powers would be, because I'm not sure exactly what the Mage does, but I know that space is pretty cool. Anyway, this one was really, 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 really healing for me. I miss Homestuck so much. Anyway, here's Troll Peebs and God tier Troll Peebs. My precious babies. They're so cool. I really do like this one a lot. And next up, we have the Owl House. This one was also a challenge. I'd only ever drawn in the Owl House style for a commission, so I tried to put that knowledge back to the I tried to pull that knowledge back to the surface. I love the Owl House, and the animation in the show is so good. I also really look up to Dana Terrace. Her work is so good, and I love how fluid her drawings of the characters are. I love her character interactions and how they interact with the environment. I've studied her art a lot. I've studied her drawings of Ida because Ida's hot and I want to learn how to draw her. Please leave me alone. I got into to the Owl House around the same time as I got into Amphibia, but Amphibia got me hooked just a little more. For this drawing, I wanted to place Peebs in the Owl House world, just like I did with Homestuck and Adventure Time. I wanted to put her in a coven that I think would suit her very well, so I went with the Beast-keeping coven and gave her that school outfit. I don't love the burnt orange, but I think like personality and lore-wise, Beast-keeping makes a lot of sense. And for the pose, I wanted to do something a little dramatic, like she has an army of creatures behind her and she's doing an evil laugh. Casual pet owner stuff. But here is the Owl House. Next up we have Amphibia, which this one was super easy for me. I'm not shy when it comes to the Amphibia style. I was really involved in the Amphibia fandom, and I'm still kind of involved when the show is going on. I made a lot of fan art and promo art for the new episodes, and that's where I gained a lot of my follower base from, which was kind of fun. I also did a lot of fun little challenges where I interacted with the fandom, and it was also really fun. It helped me learn how to kind of engage with people. It sounds weird, but it helped. My art also got noticed by the Matt Braley and Disney TVA's Twitter account, so that was super, 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 super cool. It gave me such a boost in confidence, not only in my art, but like in myself and what I can do and my abilities. It's so cool to see what happens when you become involved in something. For this one, I also wanted to put Peebs in the universe, as if she was transported to Amphibia along with Anne, Marcy, and Sasha. So I gave her a big sword because I would want a big sword. And I figured that it would honestly be way too humid for her to wear her jeans. So she would take that opportunity to rip off her legs of her pants to make some jorts, which I absolutely would do. And then I thought it would be fun to use one of those torn pant legs as if it was a ponytail holder. This one was fun purely because it felt like a break from the more challenging styles, and I really love how she turned out. The next style we have is Madoka Magica, which I really didn't draw that much fan art for it. I was really into the fandom. I chose to do this style because it is known for being a little odd, but I enjoy it. I like all of the colors and the different outfits all of the magical girls got. And when I first watched it, I definitely did not understand the story at all. I recently rewatched it, and damn, Homura is so gay for Madoka. It's so obvious, guys. But I had a hard time with this one because it's so different than my usual style, and it's just a little out of my comfort zone. At first I was going to draw Peebs as a magical girl, but then I decided I was way too lazy to come up with an outfit, so I gave up on that really, really quickly. And I just decided to have her in her just normal clothes. I also had a hard time with the line art because it's very thin, and I'm not used to thinner line art anymore, which is fine. It was a nice practice, and the eyes also gave me a hard time because they're so stylized, and I don't really draw anime eyes that much anymore. When I first started drawing, I did. And I think I had a couple of fan arts of, I did one of Homura, and then I did one of Mommy, I think. I don't know. But after kind of working on this a little more and pushing myself through the frustration, I do really enjoy how it turned out. I like the colors, I like the shape, and I like how her face came out. I think the face itself looks a lot like the show, which I'm very proud of. The rest of it's fine, but I am proud of it. The next style is Soul Eater, and while I've never actually finished the show or the manga, but I do remember watching a little bit of it when I first got into anime when I was a kid. I remember really enjoying the show's style, and I liked Maka and Krona a lot as characters, and I really liked their designs as well. There really isn't much to this one, except for the fact that I strayed from Peebs' canon design a little bit to give her a big jacket, because one of the reference pictures I have of Soul, he is wearing a big jacket, and I liked how the folds looked. So I tried to emulate that a bit, and I also tried to emulate that into the rest of the design, because I do enjoy the show's style a lot, and I definitely think that while I never finished it or finished the show at all, I think that Soul Eater has unconsciously influenced the way that I draw side profiles and noses, with their more simplified style, and I like it. But while this one is pretty simple, I still enjoy it. I think she's just hanging out. I think I did a very good job in replicating at least the faces. The body, not so much. I'm not sure if I got the body down right, but I think she'd probably be a weapon as well. If we're gonna give her some in-universe lore, I think she would be one of the weapons. She'd probably be a bat. Her Meister would probably be my girlfriend, if we're being honest. Our next style is Junji Ito, and I love Junji Ito and I love his work so much. I chose to do this style because I knew it would be a challenge for me, and I was right. It was so hard. His style is a lot more realistic, and I wanted to practice that along with poses and anatomy. And at first I was going to make her creepy and scary, just like Junji Ito's style, but then I gave up when I couldn't find a proper reference. But I went on Senshi Stock's DeviantArt. Amen to Senshi Stock. And I found a reference that I really liked. And I sketched out the pose and drew out Peebs. But then once I got the line art done, it came the hard part. The doing the details in the line art was very difficult for me, and figuring out what needed to be shaded and how to shade, because I don't usually shade with black and white like that, with my lines, because I find it a little difficult. But once I got the hang of it, it was okay. I had a lot of fun once I figured out how I wanted to continue on with the line art, and once I got past that, it was fun. And I kind of went ham on this one. It's one of the ones that I'm most proud of out of all of them. It's definitely the most detailed, and I really love how the face and the hair came out, especially the eyes. I was playing with screen tones for this as well, because Junji Ito obviously uses screen tones a bit in his work because he's a manga artist. And I had a lot of fun in playing around with the screen tones and figuring out how to not shade, but I don't know. It was really fun. And I enjoyed just making her look like she was in the universe. But yes, this one is one of my favorites out of the bunch. Alright, our final style is Neopets. I chose Neopets to be the last style simply because I wanted to do a fun one, and I had gone through a big Neopets resurgence last summer, and I played a lot. I figured out how to get loads of money, and I was saving up like it was nobody's business. I started collecting stamps, which is when I stopped playing because I got so annoyed and I got bored with it. And then it became a lot less fun. But when I was a kid, I remember sitting at my family computer and tracing the how to draw pages, and I loved drawing them. I was going to draw Peebs as a fairy, but then I was like, that's not what Neopets is known for. They're known for their pets. So I decided to draw her as an Ixie because of the horns, and I also liked the Ixie's Halloween paintbrush design, who I took inspiration from for the rest of this for her design. And I also tried to find some cosmetic items that kind of matched her hairstyle as well. And I think she came out super, super cute, and I love her so much. And that is Neopets. Isn't she so cute? Look at her. She's just hanging out. Well, and that was the last of the styles. I had so much fun with this challenge, and I'm so excited to share it with you all. Here is the full illustration with all of them lined up. I love my little guys. And I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, you should totally go and watch my Good Luck Babe animatic. It's almost at 100k views, which is crazy. Thank you so much for your support and for enjoying my stuff. I can't express how grateful I am that people resonate with my animatics as much as I do. That's all I ever wanted, was to just share my stories and share them with people, because I like to create and I like knowing that people like my stuff. But thank you so much for your support and for enjoying my work. I have a lot of fun sharing my art and my stories with you, and I can't wait to share more. Bye!